Hey guys, let's talk today about how we feel about things, mostly ourselves. Okay, in full disclosure, I had to record the intro twice because I wasn't sure if the first intro could be stabilized. I'm trying to do some new things where I use my iPhone and whatnot, and it was a little shaky. So we'll see if that worked out. I don't know. I use my iPhone to record this. I'm also using a USB mic. It's right here. And I have to resync the audio after these. So we'll see if that works too. I don't know. Again, we're trying new things, and it's not always working out. I want to talk today about how we feel about things. But first, let me tell you about my youngest daughter, Nora. Nora is 6 years old, and you know what? Let me go ahead and do this. Here's Nora. Hopefully, I've got a inset video here of her dancing. Again, we'll see if it works. If not, I'll edit this. Nora is a really funny, free-spirited 6-year-old. But being a free spirit also means she's got big emotions. And when she gets upset, she likes to speak in very strong absolutes that make no sense. Absolutely no sense. So if we tell her you cannot have ice cream because it's 8:30 at night, you've brushed your teeth and you're going to bed. And she will respond, screaming and crying. I'm not going to try and imitate her, but she'll say, "You always never give me ice cream." What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Or if we say, no, you cannot watch a 17th episode of Bluey today. She will respond with, "You always never let me watch TV." Well, it's sure consistently confusing, kiddo. I want to use a Nora speak today. And yes, it's going to be contradictory and confusing, but it's fun. You should always never trust your feelings. Or you should never always trust your feelings. You should always only sometimes trust your feelings. I hope none of that makes sense. I had this in my notebook. I wrote this down over a year ago to talk about how trusting our feelings can get us into trouble when we do it without thinking at all. And I heard a student walk out of my classroom today and say to another student, "Hey, if you feel like doing it, go ahead and do it." What a terrible piece of advice. Now, it was a kid to a kid, so advice in that context is always terrible. But the idea that our feelings are always trustworthy or always valid is not good or wise or true. I get angry pretty easily, and sometimes I have a reason to get angry, but sometimes I don't. And I have to be mature enough to admit that my feelings aren't always correct. Now, it's true I might be feeling a way. So if I'm feeling angry, that's true, I am feeling angry, but my reason for anger may not be valid. My reason for feeling jealous might not be valid. Or my reason's valid, they have a better car, house, whatever that I do, hairline. But because my reason's valid doesn't mean that it's okay to feel that way, because jealousy can cause all kinds of problems interpersonally. Feelings are not the ultimate. Feelings can be a gauge for other things. If you're feeling something, there might be a reason that needs to be investigated and interrogated. Maybe you're feeling a certain way because there's a real problem in that situation or with that person that needs to be dealt with. But sometimes maybe the feeling indicates a problem that's wrong with you. If I feel sick after eating food at a restaurant, okay, it could be because that food's not agreeing with things I already ate or I've eaten too much. But if I routinely feel sick after eating at a restaurant, it might be that restaurant. And so, granted, that's a physical feeling, but the idea is the same. If we're feeling a certain way, we have to figure out why. And the why of our feelings could be based on context in the moment, could be based on past context, could be based on a lot of factors. And I'm not saying the feelings are never valid or that those feelings are not important. Absolutely, I'm saying the opposite. Our feelings are important. They're just not the ultimate. Our life experiences, our choices should be based upon how we feel about it, what we have thought about it, and what we want to do after we get past that thing, our goal. So if our goal is to achieve something over here, and our response to this problem or thing could impede that goal, maybe we need to find a new course of action. What I'm basically saying in one sense is think long term, and emotions are not long term. They're very transitory. Emotions change so fast, it's hard to base a lot of long term decisions on how you feel in that moment. And so it's a more or less cautioning you to think as you're feeling. And I would argue, and I'm sure I've said before on a video like this, most people want to believe they're rational and that they think before they respond. They think first. But most people actually respond emotionally. They react in the moment emotionally and then rationalize it later on. They change the verbs from feeling verbs to cognitive thinking verbs as a way of excusing their behavior. Well, I was thinking this. No, I think you were feeling that, and that's why you responded that way. And again, that's a human thing. It's not like you're a bad person or you're an immature person. If you keep doing it, you don't learn that lesson. That could be a maturity factor, but it's a human reaction. It's a human. It's a very human quality to be emotionally driven, and then secondarily to go through and think things. And you know what? It's okay as long as you can keep your emotions in check long enough to think through and maybe even discuss with somebody else you respect and trust, and make sure you can kind of come to a wise, long-term focused response to things. Because understand something here, okay? Like we cannot always trust our feelings because our feelings don't always tell us the truth. Sometimes I feel pointless. Sometimes I feel like what I do doesn't matter. Sometimes I feel like I'm a burden to others. This got really heavy really quickly here. And I don't just mean my weight. Sometimes I feel really negative things about myself. Those things aren't true. Please don't try and argue that in the comments. Sometimes I feel like what I am doing in my life is a waste of my time, or rather that my time is a waste of life. I've struggled with this for a long time, since I was probably a teenager. And I have to talk to my feelings. I have to, which sounds, sometimes there's a tiny little hypermasculine 5-year-old in my head that tells me that sounds like a really dumb thing to say. But honestly, I think it's a very emotionally insightful way of looking at it. Sometimes I have to talk to my feelings, talk to myself, and interrogate my thought process here, and remind myself, no, everyone has value. Everyone has inherent and specific value. Inherently, all people are worth something. No one is a throwaway. No one is a trash person not worth it. Everyone has worth. Everyone has value. Everyone has something to contribute to society, to the world, to history, however you want to look at it. Everyone has something to give, something that makes them worthwhile. Everyone, inherent value. But then I have specific value, and everyone has specific value, but I have specific value to my family. Every person has value to my family. Every person can add positively to the world, and that then would improve my family's life. But I specifically add value to their lives. I add value to my family, to my friends. I do have a point. My job, what I do here, is meaningful. I don't know how many people watch these videos, and I'm not begging for you to share right now. I'm just saying I do them because I think what I'm saying has meaning, what I'm saying has a point, and it's things I've had to think through, things I've had to walk through in my life, and they don't really fit in the class. So I share them on here, so anyone who wants to watch them can watch them and agree or disagree, hate, like, whatever, I don't care. But there are things that I think need to be said, and this is the appropriate way to say them, at least the most appropriate way that I can rationalize or feel is appropriate. See, I can do both. And so I say all this to say this, that our feelings can lie to us. I'm not pointless. You're not pointless. I'm not a burden. You're not a burden. We're all trying our best. And so our feelings can lie to us. And so our feelings can't indicate a problem. When I'm feeling pointless, when I'm feeling bad about myself, that's not true, but there's a problem. The feelings indicate a problem. When you're feeling something, there's a reason for it. You're never feeling things out of reason. You have to find the reason. Maybe the reason you're feeling a certain way is because the thing you're feeling, like you're feeling hurt because someone said something mean to you. Or you're feeling hurt because someone said something to you and it hurt you because you feel like maybe it's actually true. And you've not yet been honest to yourself to say, oof, that thing was true. It hurt because it was true, and I know I'm in the wrong about that thing. It's a complicated example there, but when we feel something, there's a reason for it. And our feelings aren't always a fair reflection of reality, but our feelings are always reflecting something. We just don't always know what it is. And so it's up to us as human beings, as feeling people, as feeling animals, the way we have thoughts, we have feelings. It's our job to take our feelings and to look through them and think rationally as best we can about our feelings to figure out what's the reason for this feeling, what's the proper response to this feeling, how do I change my situation or myself in order to deal with this feeling. Because ultimately, we want to feel good. We want to feel content, happy, joyful. We want to feel like we contribute, that we are meaningful and we are valid. And in order to do that, we have to explore the bad feelings, figure out why we're feeling them, and do what we can on our own, with friends, with professionals, to fix those problems and to find the good feelings. That's all I have for today, guys. Have a good day. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.